So I got into the mortgage industry because I had a horrible experience with the first home that I purchased. It was a pretty bad experience. I had 3 extensions on the contract. The whole process took about 3 months. And when it was all said and done, I actually had looked up and researched guidelines, for lack of a better term, and I knew more than the processor that was processing my file by the time the process was completed. And then even at closing, I realized the day after I signed that they didn't even put my fiance on the title. So they had to go back, and I had to go back and fight with the bank for another 3 or 4 months to get that corrected. And it was just, I thought to myself, this is not something that anybody should have to go through. This is really, it should be an experience that someone should be looking forward to, as opposed to dreading, and then even after it's all said and done, have to go back and follow up because, somebody made a mistake along the line. So that's what really motivated me to get into the business and make sure that every client that I spoke to or every client that I helped did not have to go through that torturous process and really live that horrible experience. They say that the 3 top most stressful things you do in life, one is getting married, the other one is having children, and the third is buying a home. So I want to make sure that when you're buying a home, that even though it's ranked up there, that we make that as pleasant as possible and as enjoyable as possible. I pride myself in setting the expectation. One of the main things is that when you don't know what to expect, you could either have very high expectations or very low expectations. So by letting you know what is the next step and really setting your expectation for as a consumer, as a buyer, or even your realtor's expectation, or even the listing's expectation, so that they know this is where we are on the process, this is what's next. Staying in communication, answer their calls when they have calls, and spend the time explaining things to them, because this is not something that they do every day. It's kind of like sitting down and talking to a chemist, and he understands what went into that potion to make that particular formula, but we don't do this day in, day out. So the consumer doesn't do that, so they don't know what to expect. So I kind of break it down in ways that they can relate to and know what follows after that step that they completed, so that when it's all said and done, they have this sense of accomplishment, and obviously ultimately having the keys to their home. I've been with SecurityNational Mortgage for about 10 years now, and getting to where I'm at, it was been definitely an experience in itself. Building my team up where I'm at right now is something to feel proud of, something that allows me to be able to pass on that experience to that many more buyers. When you, as you're just one person, right? So how do you replicate that experience so that all of your customers can have that? Well, you build your team up to that point so they can have that same enjoyable experience, times 200, times 500, whatever the case is. And so being able to touch that many more clients or buyers is just so rewarding. It's something that, that at the end of the day gives you a sense of accomplishment. And you feel good knowing that these people were able to get into their homes that sometimes they wouldn't have if nobody spent the time to really work the file or make sure that they did everything necessary in order to be able to purchase a home, so they can ultimately have that American dream of owning a home. Our regional office here has the back end, what we call in our term, where it really provides the support necessary as a loan officer. So once you bring the business in, that's a quarter of the battle, not even half, a quarter of the battle. Making sure that everything is structured correctly, making sure that when it goes to the next department, that those things are done in an effective and timely manner is crucial. Here at SecurityNational, we have that back-end support at our regional level and even at corporate level, the times that I need to get corporate involved. It's something that you don't get in other companies. I've been with SecurityNational, as I mentioned to you, about 10 years, but I worked at several other mortgage companies prior to that. And I hear a lot of colleagues and friends in the industry that are at other companies, and they will potentially say, hey, I can't get this done here. Can you get this loan done? And 9 times out of 10, we get it done because we have the ability to think outside the box. We use common sense underwriting. We can pick up the phone and talk to an underwriter, discuss guidelines, and if need be, have our regional manager step in and make an executive decision on whether they feel that this is a good business decision. Where most other companies, you kind of, you don't, it's too corporate. You have all this red tape that you have to go through, and you get nowhere. And that's not the feeling you get here at SecurityNational. One of the newer loan officers that just joined the team or the company said, this is his first time attending one of these summits, and his experience and his takeaway was, this feels like a family business, which is great to hear, especially from an outsider. Yeah, I've been here for that many years, so it's in our blood, but somebody coming in from another company saying that, it just goes and highlights the difference that SecurityNational makes with new hires versus people who've been here for a decade. So the SecurityNational mortgage culture is some that, they do value their loan officers, their employees. SecurityNational tries to provide all the tools necessary so that people can accomplish those goals. It's difficult when you work for a company where they want you to accomplish all these things, and yet they don't give you the tools to do it. And so it builds this resentment almost in that environment where you don't get that here. You have the tools, everybody's willing to help one another. Everybody is accessible, which is phenomenal. Whether you want to have a chat with a top producer or you want to have a talk with the head underwriting or regional underwriter or whoever it is that you want to basically talk to, you have the ability to access them, which gives you, a chance to feel that if you have something that you want to get accomplished, that you have the tools to do that. It gives the sense of accomplishment, so you can achieve those goals that you want to set out to do. But it also gives you the chance to be in an environment where they reward top producing loan officers. They reward people that work hard in the company to make everybody as a team look good. And it's not something you see in other companies where it's all about, okay, you met your numbers, great, you get to keep your job. That's not what we're about here. You met your numbers, fantastic, here, now you get to go to Monaco. You met your numbers in here, now you get to go to Thailand or Hawaii. I mean, those are things that I don't know of any other mortgage company that rewards their employees for doing well. Most companies just kind of expect you to hit those numbers, and if you don't hit them, you're fired. Over here, we hit our numbers and we get rewarded. It's a great culture to be in, where everybody really has that sense of family. We really do carry that motto and do it to our branch level as well as on the regional level.